What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel. I appreciate you coming back and checking out my content. I've had awesome feedback so far. It's really driven me to want to make more videos. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of stuff coming in right away for parts to do my videos that I'd like to do, so I thought I'd make a few educational videos just in the meantime, and hopefully it'll help some people out in the future and give you guys some knowledge. So today I was going to talk about, if you're buying a Jeep Cherokee, what you absolutely need to know before you buy one. And to make it as simple as possible, there's two things you have to look for. That's it. It's as simple as that. The rest of this stuff is fixable and very minimal. So the biggest thing is rust. Okay, everyone talks about rust. It's hard to find these anymore without rust. So you have to be picky when it comes to rust, because you can chase rust for years and it'll never be right. It'll never be 100%. So try to find one that just is very minimal or none. So the main thing to look for on this when you're looking for rust is, my always rule of thumb is, if there's rust on the outside, there's rust underneath. And that's just a fact. So, you know, the last place to typically get the rust is the outside. So you have to think underneath there's rust and cracks and crevices all over the place. If you're not mechanically savvy, you really can just, it's common knowledge to just look underneath the back end, because that's where it's going to be the worst, and just examine it. And if there's enough signs to where it's pretty noticeable and bad, just know that in other places it's worse. It's always going to be worse. So that's definitely the biggest thing to look for. So if there's rust on these rocker panels, that's going to be like a huge sign to just stay away. Don't even do it. Also, inside the door jambs, underneath these doors, typically that'll start building. If there's holes here, I mean, you're going to be fighting a battle that you're not going to win. So that's just my recommendation. I've built 6 of these things, and I bought one with bad rust thinking I could do it, and I was like, it's more work than it's worth. So also the rear rocker panels, that's going to be a huge one. If there's rusting out here, there's going to be more than that. 97 and newer have the end caps. If you can pull it off to look inside of it, you'll be able to see it, a little better. If there's a big hole of rust in there, it's going to be a battle. So that's just the main things on the body. You want to buy a solid body Jeep, okay? Like, that's just a fact. Like, on these Cherokees, buying a good body is everything. So, even if the motor is shit, a motor is like $1,500 to drop in, a reman. So that's fixable. Rust, not exactly fixable. You'll be fighting it forever. So that's the number one thing. So just, if you have any questions and you're thinking about buying a Jeep, just either comment or message me. I'd love to help you out, because it'll be something that could be a huge pain in the ass. So, all right, on to the next thing. So another thing is, if you're not mechanically savvy, the next big thing is you have to get a compression test. If you're paying upwards of $3,000-$4,000 for these, do a compression test yourself or get it done, because these things are known to overheat, and with a compression test, that's going to tell you, okay, the motor's solid or it's not. I guess not necessarily the motor, the head or the head gasket. That's going to tell you right away if those two things are bad. If you can, do a leak down test just to make sure your cylinders are, all 100% having good compression. That's going to tell you if your rings or pistons are bad. That's a little more in depth. If you don't know how to do a leak down test, when you get a compression test, typically any mechanic can do a leak down as well. They'll do that with it. So a leak down test and compression test will tell you, one, if your head or head gasket's going bad, or if your pistons or rings are bad. And right there, that's all you need to know. That's your whole motor almost. The rest of the stuff is inexpensive. Radiator, water pump, those things are all easily fixable. So if it's running hot because of those things, not a huge deal. So definitely get a compression test done or do it yourself. That's just a fact. I see people paying a lot of money for these things, and if you're paying that much money, you really should get the motor tested and make sure it's 100% if you don't want to mess with it. And on top of that, that might get you a really good deal if it's pulling bad compression. you might be able to get a really nice body Jeep with a lift and everything for an extremely cheap price. So just by doing a compression test. So the facts are there in it, so definitely do it. It'll save you a hassle as well. So those are the two main things. There's a lot more. There's a million little nitpick things I can nitpick, and go crazy about when you're buying one of these. But I think those are the two main things that you really should look for before you buy one. It's gonna help you a lot, and it's gonna give you a vehicle that's gonna have a longer, just a nice, long-lasting vehicle. So keep those two things in mind. Other than that, I just wanted to make a short video on that. I think it might help a few people out who are buying one. I appreciate you guys stopping in. If you could, please like and subscribe. It gives me the motivation to want to make more content. Hopefully I'll have more videos coming here in the next few weeks. I'm waiting on a lot of parts and pieces. Let's be real, I'm waiting on my tax return to buy a bunch of parts for this. So I'm still waiting on it. Once I get it, we'll be able to rock and roll and move forward. So just, hang in there, and I appreciate you all just, wanting to see my content, and I know I probably am not the most exciting to listen to, but I don't know, it's a passion that I have, and I'd love to help people out if I can. So I appreciate you all coming and checking me out, and stay tuned for the next video. Thanks.